I was sitting at a cafe in Barcelona, enjoying a shot of espresso, when my phone rang. "Hey, Eli," she said, her voice sharp, distant, like ice. "I'm leaving you. For my lover. And the baby we're expecting." I didn't even blink. Not a flicker on my face. "I sold your house. And your car," she added, like that was supposed to shake me. Instead, I just gazed out over the rooftops of Barcelona, leaned back in my chair, and exhaled slow and even. "All right," I told her, steady as stone. She had no idea that would be the last time she'd ever see me lose my footing. 3 days later, I landed at JFK, not expecting anything. As far as I was concerned, I was finished. Done with her. Or so I thought. There she was. Sienna. Standing there like a junkie waiting for her next fix. Her blonde hair was twisted into some fake, picture-perfect bun. She wore one of those flashy designer jackets, probably something she bought using my credit card. Her mascara had just enough smudge to send the message, "Feel bad for me." "Eli. Eli," she shouted across the terminal, her voice cracking as she chased after me. I stopped. Calm. Cold. Slightly amused. "What happened?" she cried out, breathless. I turned around, face blank. "Everything went exactly the way I planned," I said. She stared at me like someone had knocked the wind out of her soul. But maybe I should rewind for a second. Just 3 months earlier, Sienna was still pretending to be a wife. We'd been married for 3 years. I was still fighting for us, still believing in our future. I poured myself into building a life for us, working long hours, saving, creating something solid. Meanwhile, she was busy working on her tan, spinning lies, and apparently, growing another man's child. It started off subtly. She stopped touching me. The soft kiss on the forehead before work. Gone. Late-night cuddles. Replaced by her curled up with her phone, smiling at messages she'd forgotten getting. She quit wearing the necklace I gave her for our anniversary, the one with her name in cursive on it. "It's tacky," she said once. "But that new gold chain. Yeah, that one wasn't from me." One night, I got up around 2 a.m. for a glass of water and caught her slipping out onto the balcony in just her robe. Whispering into the phone. "Who are you talking to?" I asked. She jumped, dropped the phone like it burned her. "Nobody," she mumbled, eyes scanning like she was trapped. I didn't push. Not yet. I needed more. I wanted the truth to bleed out slow, one painful drip at a time. So I waited. I watched. Before my trip to Barcelona, I installed a hidden camera in the living room. Synced it to my laptop. While she thought I was off charming clients over pasta and wine, I was watching her invite some guy into our home. Into our bed. He looked younger, mid-20s, maybe. Covered in tattoos. He had that smug grin that comes from sleeping with someone else's wife. I saw them laughing, drinking my whiskey, getting cozy on my couch. Then I watched her climb onto his lap like I didn't even exist. She giggled like a teenager and whispered, "He'll never find out." Then kissed him like I was already erased. I closed my laptop. And smiled. She thought she was playing me. What she didn't know was that I'd already shifted the house deed to my brother months earlier. The car. Leased under my company's name. Our joint bank accounts. I locked them the moment I touched down in Spain. She sold illusions. Shadows. And I let her. I kept quiet while she thought she was outsmarting me. Played the clueless husband so well, she actually bought it. Then came her big move, the call with all the dramatics, the lover, the baby, the house, the car. She laid all her cards out. But I had the winning hand. Everything was unfolding exactly how I wanted it to. Back at JFK, mascara streaked down her face, her lips trembling as she stared at me, waiting for a meltdown, waiting for me to fall apart. Instead, I handed her an envelope. "What's this?" she stammered. "Eviction notice," I said. "And a paternity test." Her mouth twitched. "What?" "The baby," I said. "He's not mine." She stumbled backward like I'd just slapped her. "How did you?" "I watched you," I said, cool and even. "Every single night." She opened her mouth to speak, but nothing came out. "I knew the truth before you ever laid down with him." People walking past slowed their steps, trying not to stare but clearly listening. Sienna's face shifted, from pale shock to burning rage. "You can't do this to me," she hissed. I leaned in close, whispered like a blade cutting through air. "I already did." Then I walked right past her, cutting through the crowd while she stood there, shaking, hollow, completely powerless. And this was just the beginning. When I got back to what used to be our house, the silence was the first thing that hit me. Not the comforting kind, but the eerie, post-storm kind. The kind that feels loud in your chest. The place had been gutted. Furniture gone. Family photos vanished. Even the damn coffee machine was missing. All that remained was the scent of her perfume, Sienna's signature fake vanilla still clinging to the air like some dollar store ghost. I walked into the bedroom and saw the mess, mattress half ripped, sheets taken. But the hidden camera I stashed in the baseboard. Still there. She never found it. I opened my laptop and pulled up the latest footage. There she was, Sienna, just 2 nights earlier. Wearing nothing but that silk robe I gave her for our anniversary, glass of wine in hand, scrolling through her phone with that smug little grin. Then the door swung open, and in walked him. Travis. Yeah, I knew his name now. He was the gym's delivery guy. I remembered tipping him $20 once, for bringing protein powder. $20 to walk into my house and take my wife. He strolled in like he owned the place. I watched them talk, laugh, kiss, then disappear under the covers. But what cut the deepest? It was her voice, low and smug, whispering, "Eli's such a loser. He's boring. All he does is work." That hit different. Because I was the one who built the world around her. I was the guy who skipped vacations, pulled double shifts, stayed up at night crunching numbers to clear her student loans. I was the one who believed in her dream of being an artist when no one else did. And that's what she said. She hadn't touched a paintbrush in 2 years, yet there she was, calling me boring while letting some other guy kiss her neck in the bed I paid for. That's when something shifted inside me. I didn't get mad. Not yet, anyway. That would come later. At first, I just sat there. Still. Empty. Like I wasn't even in my own body. Just watching, listening, like I'd stumbled onto some documentary about a stranger's ruined life. But way down deep, something was stirring. A storm was starting to gather. I shut the laptop and stared at the wall. Could have been an hour. Maybe 10. Time didn't seem real. Eventually, I looked around the room. Her hairbrush was still on the dresser. Phone charger still plugged in by the bed. She'd left in a rush. Thought I'd come home, fall apart. Thought I'd cry, beg, maybe even apologize for working too much or not being present enough. What she didn't count on. Me watching her betrayal play out from 3 different camera angles. So I took my time. I walked into the studio, the one I'd built for her in the guest room, even added special lighting because she once said she couldn't paint in yellow tones. I opened drawers, poked through old receipts, random notes, a few scribbled phone numbers. One of them had a little heart drawn next to it. I called it. A woman answered. "Hello. Is this Paige?" I asked. "Yeah, who's this?" "This is Eli. Sienna's husband." There was a long pause. Then a quiet sigh. "I was wondering when you'd reach out," she said softly. My gut twisted. "She told me you were abusive," Paige added. "Said you cheated first." Of course she did. Sienna had spun her own little fantasy world, some alternate reality where she was the victim, and her betrayal made sense. I'm sure she told that lie enough times that even she believed it. "She's pregnant," I said flatly. "I know," Paige replied. "But it's not yours, is it?" "No. It's not." Silence again. I thanked her and hung up. There it was. Everything confirmed. The cheating. The lies. The character assassination while I was out there busting my ass trying to keep our life from falling apart. This wasn't just infidelity. It was a full-on ambush. But I wasn't going to play the broken man. I didn't call her. Didn't text. Didn't show up at her new place like some lovesick ex. I went quiet. Let her sit in the silence. Women like Sienna, they can't stand silence. They live off chaos, off the need to provoke, to control. But when there's nothing, no response, no emotion, just stillness, that's when they start to unravel. I gave her 4 full days of that. On the 5th, she cracked. "Eli, we need to talk," she said when she finally called. Her voice had changed. No more icy calm. No smugness. Just fear, dressed up as composure. I agreed to meet, public place, downtown diner. Neutral ground. She was already there when I walked in. Full face of makeup, red lipstick, that same cheap gold chain resting against her collarbone. Trying hard to look unbothered. But she was chewing on her thumbnail, just like she did back in college when she was nervous. "Hi," she said, like she hadn't just bulldozed our entire life. I sat down. Said nothing. "You've been quiet," she said, stirring her coffee. The spoon clinked against the mug. Her hand was trembling. Still, I didn't say a word. "I didn't think you'd just go silent," she tried again. "You haven't even asked why." "I already know why," I finally said, voice calm and steady. The kind of calm that makes people squirm. Her face flinched. "It wasn't working," she rushed out. "We lost our connection. You were always working, Eli. I needed more than bills getting paid. I needed love. Attention. Passion. You needed to sleep with the delivery guy," I cut in. Her eyes went wide. Her cheeks flushed. She looked around, embarrassed. Don't talk to me like that. Why not? I asked. That's how you talked about me, to him. To Paige. She froze. The silence was sharp. You talk to Paige. I talk to a lot of people, I said. When I'm not busy being a boring loser. That one hit. The color drained from her face like someone had flipped a switch. I didn't mean that. But you said it. It was in the moment, Eli. I was confused. Travis, I laughed. Couldn't help it. Dry and bitter. You were confused while sleeping with him in our bed. Wearing my robe. Drinking my whiskey. Her eyes filled with tears. She reached across the table, trying to touch my hand. I pulled away. You're not sorry for what you did. You're just sorry you got caught. She turned her face. Tried to spin it again. You don't know what it's like. Feeling alone. I do, I said. I was alone while you were texting him. Alone while I was paying off your credit cards. Alone when I stood up for you, told my friends you were just tired. That you weren't distant, you were just stressed. Her lips quivered. She had nothing left. No defense. Did you really think I wouldn't figure it out? I don't know what I thought, she whispered. Did you think I'd fall apart? Come crawling back. Apologize for not being enough. She stayed quiet. You miscalculated, Sienna. I stood up. Tossed a 10 on the table. She grabbed my wrist. Her voice cracked. What now? I looked her dead in the eye. Come. Clear. Now. You vanish. Like the lie you've been. And I walked away. Left her sitting there in that booth, wrecked, hollow, with nothing but her fake gold chain and her empty excuses. I thought I'd snap. Thought I'd break something. Scream into a pillow. Punch a wall. That's what people expect when a man finds out his wife's been lying to his face and sleeping with someone else in his bed. But I didn't feel fire. I felt ice. I sat alone in my new apartment, a one-bedroom place I'd moved into 2 weeks earlier. Walls were bare. Clothes still in boxes. It didn't feel like home. But at least it didn't feel like hers. I poured myself a drink. Whiskey. Neat. The same brand they'd shared while laughing at me. I watched it swirl in the glass, amber and sharp. And I wondered how long I'd been living in a dream while she was building a new life behind my back. The pain didn't come all at once. It hit in waves. Not the betrayal. That wound was already numb. No, the real blow was realizing something far worse. I never truly knew the woman who kissed me goodbye every morning. She wasn't the woman who once cried in my arms, begging forgiveness for accidentally texting another guy 2 years ago. She wasn't the same woman who promised, swore up and down, she'd never lie again after she vanished for hours at that party. Sienna was a performer. And damn, she played the role well. I just happened to be the poor fool who bought front row seats to the live broadcast of my own humiliation. And the hardest pill to swallow. I loved her. Really loved her. I believed in her. I trusted her. I saw a future. She traded all of that in for a cheap thrill and the baby she thought would magically reset her life. Yeah, the baby. That part hit me harder than I ever saw coming. Even knowing it wasn't mine, some twisted part of me wanted it to be. Like if it was mine, then maybe, just maybe, there'd be something worth salvaging. Something real to fix. A reason to keep fighting. But no. All I got were lies. Mountains of them. She told me she loved me. She didn't. She said it was just emotional. It wasn't. She claimed it happened once. I had video of 4 separate nights. Every tear, every sorry, every weak little apology, fake. Bad acting, written with my heart as the punchline. People ask me all the time, why didn't I explode? Why didn't I call her family? Trash her online. Leak the footage. Easy. She wasn't worth the match. What cut deeper than the betrayal was realizing just how small she really was. I'd built her up in my mind. Thought she was deep, layered, someone with real passion and purpose. But when the smoke cleared, all I saw was noise. Expensive perfume. Fake laughs. A face that could lie like it was born to. And once you finally see someone clearly, really see them, there's no anger. Just that cold, quiet kind of disappointment. Like realizing the magician was just using strings the whole time. I went through it in phases. First came the numbness. Then the bitter kind of anger that leaves you empty. Then came the regret, not for losing her, but for ever choosing her. And finally, came peace. The day I tossed our wedding photos into the metal trash can behind my new apartment and lit a match, I didn't feel grief. I felt clean. Like rinsing off poison I didn't even realize I'd been soaking in for years. I didn't want revenge. I didn't want her crawling back. I didn't even want closure. I just wanted my life back. No more checking her phone every time she stepped into the bathroom. No more pretending I didn't notice the scent of someone else's cologne. No more lying to myself when she said she hadn't gone out, while lipstick stains said otherwise. She was gone. And for the first time in years, I could breathe. Once the chaos died down, once the house was emptied and every truth laid bare, I found myself standing at a crossroads. The one every man who's been betrayed eventually reaches. What now? I could have tried to patch it all up. Could have sifted through the wreckage and pretended it could be rebuilt. But why rebuild a house when you find out the foundation's been rotting since day one? The morning after we met at the diner, I filed for divorce. No drama. No begging. No, maybe we can still fix this. Just a clean cut. Final. Quiet. And Sienna didn't fight it. Deep down, I think she knew she'd already lost. Not just me, but the entire illusion she'd wrapped herself in. She called me a week later. Not to say sorry. Not to cry. Just to ask, can I keep the paintings? The F******ing paintings. I built her a studio. Paid for the supplies. Backed her dream when no one else even took it seriously. And now she wanted to keep pieces of that dream like souvenirs. No, I said. The paintings stay. Then I hung up. That was the last time we spoke. After that, I vanished from her world. I changed my number. Shut down every shared account. Shifted funds into a private investment account. Set up a new mailing address. Blocked her everywhere. I didn't do it to get back at her. I did it to survive. Here's what most people don't get. Cheating doesn't just betray your trust. It erodes you. It chips away at your sense of self. Makes you question your own gut, your worth, your sanity. I had to rebuild. From scratch. So I started small. I woke up early. Hit the gym. Learned to cook for one. Went on long walks without checking for texts. Stared at my reflection without shame or second-guessing. I stopped waiting for closure. Stopped replaying the footage like some broken record. Stopped torturing myself by listening to our wedding song on loop like a fool. I even donated her leftover clothes, the ones she didn't bother to take when she stormed out like the star of some tragedy she wrote herself. And then I picked up a pen. Not to write poems or novels. Just thoughts. Reflections on betrayal. On healing. On what it means to be a man in a world where loyalty gets laughed at. I wrote down everything I wish I'd known before marrying her. Like how attention isn't the same as affection. How repeated apologies mean nothing without change. How real loyalty isn't bought, it's shown. In the small things. Like who checks in on you when your world starts falling apart. And the more I wrote, the clearer it all became. She didn't destroy me. She revealed me. Sienna exposed the parts of myself I had ignored for far too long. My tendency to tolerate too much. To make excuses. To pretend red flags were just misunderstandings, because I was scared of being alone. Because I thought love was supposed to hurt sometimes. But it's not. Love should nourish you. Not drain you dry. So no, I didn't spiral. I didn't turn bitter. I didn't join some online echo chamber of men swearing off love forever. But I did change. I became sharper. A little colder, maybe. But real. No more sugarcoating. No more second chances for liars. No more dragging dead weight, hoping it'll walk again. Her betrayal didn't just end a marriage. It sparked a rebirth. I didn't just lose a wife. I found myself. And once the papers were signed, once the silence between us became permanent, life began to move forward again. Not in the same direction. Not in the same way. But with purpose. I wasn't just healing. I was rebuilding an entire world from the ground up, brick by honest brick. The aftermath. It hit me from directions I never saw coming. First came the whispers, because people talk. Especially when a marriage detonates the way mine did. Friends started reaching out. Some in genuine shock, others pretending they hadn't already heard. But I knew the story had already made its rounds. According to Sienna, I'd checked out emotionally. That I left her feeling alone long before she ever strayed. And, of course, a few people bought it. But the ones who knew me, the real ones, they didn't need convincing. They remembered the way she used to act at get-togethers. How she'd throw little jabs at me, subtle but sharp. How her phone was always flipped face down. They saw it. They just never said anything. And honestly, I couldn't blame them. I hadn't just missed the signs, I'd ignored them. Then, out of nowhere, her brother messaged me. "Man, I'm sorry," he said. "She's been off for a while." I didn't want to overstep, but I should have spoken up. He wasn't alone. One of her old college friends slid into my DMs on Instagram. "Hey, just wanted you to know, this isn't new. She's done this before. You're not the first." That message landed in my chest like a brick. Not the first. So this wasn't a one-time mistake. This was her pattern. And I was just another guy who mistook her chaos for depth, who saw potential where there was only a ticking time bomb wrapped in perfume and pretty lies. What cut the deepest? I had brought her home. Introduced her to my family. Told my mom she was the one. Swore to my dad I'd finally found my person. I had gone to bat for her more times than I could count, even when people raised their eyebrows. Now, all those moments, they tasted like ash. Telling my parents, that was a different kind of heartbreak. My mom cried, not because of the divorce itself, but because of what it had done to me. You look like you've aged 10 years, she whispered, holding my face like she was trying to find the boy I used to be. My dad didn't say much. He just nodded, gave me that steady kind of support only a father can give, no words, just presence. Then he said something I'll never forget, sometimes, son, you have to lose what's killing you to remember who you are. I clung to that line like it was a life raft in the middle of a storm. But it wasn't just my emotions that needed cleanup, there was financial wreckage, too. Even after protecting most of what I had, Sienna still took a shot. Filed for spousal support a week after the divorce was final. Claimed she gave up her career to support mine. She gave up nothing. She painted 2 canvases in 3 years and spent the rest of her time on Instagram, flirting with fitness coaches and reposting inspirational quotes. My lawyer crushed her request within days. But the fact that she even tried, that she had the audacity to think she deserved something after everything she'd done, that lit a fire in my chest I hadn't felt in years. And Travis, her gym rat boyfriend, he dipped. Of course he did. Barely a month after our split, a mutual friend told me Travis ghosted her the second she started bringing up the future. The baby was real, but so was his rap sheet. She traded security for a fantasy, loyalty for lies, a steady life for a sugar rush, and it all blew up in her face. But me, I was still here, maybe a little battered, but definitely not broken. There's a strange kind of strength that comes from walking through betrayal and coming out colder, but sharper. The fallout wasn't just about losing her. It was about stripping away every illusion I didn't even realize I'd been living in. The fake laughs, the subtle compromises, the little lies I told myself to keep the peace. It was about burning the old version of me to the ground and starting over. For the first time, I wasn't reacting to someone else's chaos. I was choosing my peace. There's no big movie moment when you move on. No triumphant music or dramatic realization. It's quiet. It's the random Tuesday when you realize you haven't thought about her in 2 full days. It's walking into your favorite cafe and not checking if she's blocked you again. It's the silence, and finally feeling okay in it. After the divorce, I gave myself breathing room. No dating apps. No rebounds. I didn't need a distraction. I needed reflection. I needed to figure out what the hell happened, and who I'd become in the middle of it. So I started saying yes to things that had nothing to do with her. Yes to late-night runs instead of arguments. Yes to weekend hikes with old friends I hadn't seen in forever. Yes to me. Finally. I cleared out everything. New apartment. No Sienna in sight. No pictures. No shared furniture. I sold the couch, torched the sheets, donated the dining table. Every trace of her had to go. Because healing isn't just about your heart, it's about your space. You can't move forward when ghosts are still hanging from your bookshelves. And for the first time in a long time, my phone was quiet. No more overthinking every buzz. No more pretending not to care when her notifications lit up. Instead, I built habits. Cooked actual meals again. Played the music I loved before she rolled her eyes at it. Wore cologne that I liked, not the one she bought to upgrade my scent. I filled the silence with books, long walks, deep podcasts, and honest self-talk. There were hard nights, sure. Nights when I'd remember how she used to fall asleep on my chest. Nights when dreams tricked me into thinking we were still together, and I'd wake up in a panic, drenched in sweat, heart racing. But then morning would come, and she'd still be gone, and I'd still be okay. One evening, months later, I wandered into a bookstore downtown. I was flipping through a worn copy of The Alchemist when a woman next to me let out this soft little laugh at something in her own book. It wasn't flirtatious. Wasn't forced. It was just real. We talked. Nothing serious. Nothing heavy. Just 2 strangers, sharing a moment in a quiet corner of the world. She didn't know who I was. Didn't know what I'd been through. She wasn't trying to fix me, save me, or fill a hole. She was just there. That's all. And for the first time in a long while, I realized I didn't need rescuing. I didn't need to win. Didn't need revenge. Didn't even need someone new to fill the space she left. What I needed was me. To come back to myself. To finally choose stillness over struggle. Truth over tangled lies. Peace, not performance. Sienna. She was a chapter. Not the whole story. She was the storm, but she wasn't the ending. And now, I'm the one holding the pen, writing the rest of the book. If you'd asked me a year ago where I'd be today, I would have painted a much different picture. Something steady, predictable, still married, still pushing forward, probably trying to start a family. Back then, I still believed in that story. Believed love was about sticking it out, even when it hurt. Believed in Sienna. Believed in us. Believed in the life I thought we were building together. But looking back, I was the only one doing any of the building. Now, I'm living in a different world. Not better. Not worse. Just honest. A world without illusions. No filtered smiles. No curated versions of love. Just me, my peace, and the truth. Sometimes I look back and it almost feels like it never happened, like the whole thing was a strange, bitter dream. But I remember it all. The way betrayal smells. The sound of her voice as she lied through her teeth. The coldness in her tone when she said she was leaving me, for him. For their unborn child. She thought that moment would shatter me. Instead, it snapped me awake. There's something brutally clarifying about betrayal. It peels everything back. No more distractions. No more soft lies. It makes you face the real you, not the version you show the world, but the one staring back at you in the mirror. The man with tired eyes. The one who stayed too long. The one who kept trying to fix something that was never whole to begin with. And staring him down. That was the real beginning. I learned more in those lonely, quiet weeks than I did during the entire marriage. I learned trust isn't weakness, it's a gamble. That love is a gift, sure, but it should never ask for your dignity in return. That forgiveness is strong, but never owed. Especially not to someone who lit the bridge and smiled as it burned. Would I undo it all? Truthfully, no. Because that heartbreak made me. It dismantled the version of me who thought being the nice guy meant letting things slide. It destroyed the men who confused silence with strength. It buried the people-pleaser who kept handing out one last chance, again and again. And from that wreckage, something better rose up. Sharper. Wiser. Still kind, but never blind. I see men going through this now. And I want to tell them, you're not overreacting. You're not being weak. You're not crazy. You're waking up. And yeah, it hurts. But it's necessary. Because sometimes, the worst thing that ever happens to you ends up being the best thing that could have. Sienna wasn't my ending. She was the twist. The lesson. The test I didn't know I needed. And when I passed it, I didn't win her back. I got me back. If there's one thing I'd tell any man reading this, it's simple, listen to your gut. If something feels off, it is. If you're constantly second-guessing your worth, your sanity, your role in the relationship, step back. Pay attention. Because real love doesn't feel like walking on eggshells. It's not about secret phone passwords, unexplained absences, and manipulation masked as affection. Real love is calm. It's safe. It's loyal even when no one's watching. And if you're not getting that, leave. Don't wait for the betrayal to set your life on fire. Don't wait for that call, the one where she tells you it's over and, oh yeah, she's pregnant with someone else's child. You deserve more. Even when you don't believe it. Especially then. As for me, I'm not bitter. I don't hate her. Hating her would mean she still holds power over me. She doesn't. She's just a name now. Once, I used to whisper it in my sleep. Now, she's just another page in a closed book. And I've started a new one. The chapters I'm writing now, they're quiet, simple, genuine, and most importantly, they're mine.